Rebirth of Bigfoot collision, resurrection, and a roar. Logan didn't expect to die that Tuesday. He closed the convenience store just like every night, half asleep, half bored, and one bad customer away from quitting forever. The street was quiet, the kind of quiet that made even plastic bags seem suspicious. Then came the light. Blinding headlights, screeching tires, a flash of metal and meat colliding, and then darkness, like someone yanked the plug on the world. He didn't wake up in a hospital. He didn't wake up at a lattice. Not as Logan. The air was thick, the forest unfamiliar, and the trees looked like they were designed by a committee of nightmares. The ground squelched under his feet, no pause. He looked down. His hands were gone, replaced by claws. Thick fur covered his arms. He opened his mouth to scream and heard a growl that shook the treetops. Then, floating in front of his vision like some unholy hybrid of hologram and video game UI, came a glowing message. Congratulations, you have been reincarnated as Bigfoot World. Zombie apocalypse. System activated. Logan blinked. This had to be a dream, or a hallucination. Or maybe, just maybe, death came with a patch update. Either way, he was apparently a myth. No time to process it. Something moaned behind him. A rotting figure shambled from the trees, dragging one leg and making that awful wet chewing sound. A zombie. Classic Logan. Bigfoot didn't think he swung his massive arm. The thing exploded like a microwaved ham. Another message blinked into view. Level 1 achieved. Ability unlocked. Plus 20% melee damage. Quest: eliminate 10 basic zombies. Logan frowned. This really was some kind of game, and apparently he was the tutorial boss. The forest wasn't silent anymore. Groans echoed between the trees, like a haunted choir looking for brains. Logan, still getting used to walking like a Wookiee on leg day, began moving. If this was a game, fine, he'd play. If this was an afterlife, well, at least he finally got out of retail. By the time the sun dipped behind the trees, if that even was a sun, he had smashed 8 zombies into compost. His claws dripped black sludge, and strangely he felt satisfied. No customers, no receipts, just monsters to punch. Not a bad trade. At the top of a hill, he paused to catch his breath, not that he seemed to need it. Below him stretched a ruined town. Shattered houses, overturned cars, and slow twitching figures. Another message lit up the sky. Mission update: world divided into zones. Complete all to unlock memories. Memories, Logan squinted. So this wasn't just about smashing undead skulls. Someone or something wanted him to remember who he was, but why the Bigfoot makeover? He growled. It echoed deep and low, like a bear with a subwoofer. Whatever this place was, simulation, purgatory, or next-gen, Logan had a purpose now. He had claws, muscle, and a mission. And somewhere out there may be a reason. But first, 7 more zombies needed to be taught a lesson. Fire claws and flying eyeballs. Zombies turned out to be like potato chips. Logan couldn't stop at just one. By the time he reached double digits, he was moving with confidence, not grace. Exactly, more like unstoppable snowplow wearing fur pants. He smashed, roared, stomped, and occasionally tripped over his own oversized feet. And every time a zombie exploded in a puff of mold and regret, a little ding echoed in his head. It was satisfying in a weirdly primal way. Also kind of gross. When the final body dropped, another floating message appeared. Level 2 reached. New ability unlocked. Roar. Disorients enemies in a 10-meter radius. Sweet, Logan muttered, testing it immediately. He inhaled and let loose a scream straight from the bowels of Sasquatch hell. Birds flew, trees shook. 3 squirrels died of heart failure. Unfortunately, it also made his ears ring. He added volume control to his mental wish list. That's when he heard the hum, a mechanical one, high-pitched, whiny, and not at all zombie-like. From the mist emerged a floating eyeball. Okay, technically it was a drone, but it definitely had the energy of an over-caffeinated cyclops. It hovered 3 feet above the ground and spoke in a smooth, robotic voice. Welcome, Subject Logan. System observation initiated. Logan stared at it, then pointed to himself. Logan, you know me. The drone whirred in a circle. Partial memory profile detected. Full recovery locked behind mission tiers. It paused, then added in an almost smug tone. Current status: 2% human, 98% cryptid. Logan scratched his furry head. Figures. The drone projected a glowing map into the air-burned cities. Red zones. Strange icons. Looked like someone had spilled zombie sauce across an atlas. Objective: advance through 5 zones. Complete quests. Unlock identity. Access. Exit protocol. Exit. Logan perked up like, leave this freak show. The drone beeped. Define freak show. Logan sighed. Never mind. He followed the drone as it zipped forward, leading him down a cracked asphalt path. The world was a wreck of flooded highways, collapsed buildings, scorched skies. If Mother Nature was still around, she'd have raged quit long ago. And yet, something about it felt familiar, as if he'd seen this apocalypse before, only with better graphics. He glanced down at his claws. Maybe in a past life he played too many open-world survival games. They arrived at a ruined village, or what was left of it. Rotting wooden huts, Fences gnawed through, and the smell of something that once tried to be soup. Zombies wandered aimlessly like confused tourists. Then one of them turned. It had extra limbs, glowing eyes, and a jaw that clicked like it had Bluetooth. The drone buzzed nervously. Mutant variant detected. Class infected Guardian. Logan grinned. Now we're talking. He charged, claws swinging, roar building in his chest. The Guardian screeched and leapt far faster than the others. Its limbs wrapped around Logan like angry spaghetti. He slammed it into the ground. Once, twice, then activated his roar. The zombie flew backward into a wall that crumbled like wet cake. The fight dragged on. The Guardian bled green fire, hissed curses, and tried to bite off Logan's ear. Logan responded with fists, claws, and one well-timed insult about its hygiene. Finally, with a flaming uppercut, he launched it sky-high. It exploded mid-air in a glorious shower of gore and loot. A glowing chest dropped at his feet. New message. Quest complete. Reward. Fire claws. Your attacks now ignite enemies for 3 seconds. Logan flexed his hands as flames coiled around his fingers. Oh hell yes. He punched a nearby tree just for fun. It burst into flames. The tree, not the fun. The drone hovered silently, probably judging him. As the fire died down, something else sparked deep in his mind. A flicker, a flash, a memory. He stood behind a counter. Plastic bags, cheap candy, a kid crying over a dropped ice cream. He handed the boy a new one, smiled. Then darkness again. Logan staggered back. What the hell was that? The drone floated closer. Memory unlocked, 3%. More available upon system progression. So this really was about more than survival. There was a story here. His story. But first, more zombies needed punching. Horde boss and the trash-talking raccoon Logan was starting to think zombies came in flavors, some slow and mushy, others fast and downright annoying. But nothing prepared him for the Horde. It was like every undead in the neighborhood got a group text saying, hey, let's mess with Bigfoot today. Dozens of groaning, shuffling, rotten faces poured out from every direction, hungry for a fist fight. Great, Logan muttered, cracking his knuckles, which now felt more like molten steel. He wasn't exactly a fan of crowds, but crowds that wanted to eat your brain were a different story. The floating drone zipped next to him, blinking nervously. Warning, Horde, approaching estimated numbers 37 zombies versus one furry legend. Logan grinned. This'll be fun. The fight was chaos. Zombies lunged, snarled, and tried to grab him like he was a walking buffet. Logan swung and roared, sending bodies flying in all directions. At one point, he accidentally punched a rusted car door, making a sound that could probably be heard 3 towns over. He winced. Note to self, metal hurts. In the middle of the fray, something small and fast darted past him. A raccoon, yes, a raccoon with glowing red eyes and a mouth full of sharp, uneven teeth. It screeched, hey Bigfoot, bet you can't catch me. Logan blinked. Did that trash panda just talk? Bet your fur it did. The raccoon chattered, flipping a zombie finger like a rock star. Name's Rags, and I'm the best damn scavenger this side of the apocalypse. Logan raised an eyebrow. Great, a chatty raccoon sidekick, just what I needed. Rags grinned, or at least as much as a mangy raccoon could. Listen, me claw, there's an upgrade waiting for you in the next zone, but it's got a catch. You want it. Logan considered. He was covered in zombie guts, wielding fire claws, and had a robo-eye hovering nearby. What was one more thing? Hit me. Rags pulled out a glowing vial. Nano serum makes you faster, stronger, but it might make you a little crazy. Side effects include spontaneous dance moves and occasional hallucinations of disco balls. Logan snorted. I'm already halfway there. He downed the serum like it was cheap whiskey. The world around him sharpened, sounds became crisper, and a surge of power coursed through his fur and bones. He flexed. Okay, this is pretty awesome. The drone beeped excitedly. Upgrade accepted. Speed increased by 40%. Warning, possible side effects detected. Before Logan could ask what those side effects might be, a loud roar echoed through the ruins. From the smoke emerged a massive zombie with glowing eyes and armor made of scrap metal. Its jaws snapped like a bear trap. The Horde had a leader. Logan cracked his neck. Alright big guy, let's dance. The battle was on. Scrap Metal King in Disco Fever, the monstrous zombie boss, towered over Logan. Its scrap metal armor clanking with every heavy step. Its breath was rancid enough to wilt flowers, and Logan wasn't sure if that was a good or bad thing. The Horde behind it paused, giving their leader space to throw down. Logan felt the nano serum buzzing in his veins, heightening his senses and reflexes. But then a weird sensation crept in, like the soundtrack of a disco party playing faintly in his head. He shook it off. Focus. Bigfoot. Focus. The boss charged, swinging a massive metal arm like a wrecking ball. Logan dodged, feeling faster than ever. His claws slashed through rusted armor with fiery sparks flying. Every hit made the boss stumble, but it was relentless, roaring with fury and something that sounded suspiciously like bad karaoke. Suddenly, Logan's foot tapped involuntarily to the invisible beat. His body twitched, and before he knew it, he was doing an awkward moonwalk. Oh no, he muttered, not now. The boss blinked, confused by Logan's strange moves, and stumbled backward. Rags the raccoon laughed hysterically. "Looks like you got the disco fever for the ball," Logan growled, shaking off the weird dance compulsion. He lunged forward, claws blazing with fire, slicing through the boss's armor and finally hitting a glowing core. The boss let out a deafening roar before collapsing into a heap of scrap and slime. The horde scattered, and the drone announced, "Boss defeated. Quest complete. Reward, Shadow Step. Teleport up to 10 meters. Logan flexed his claws, imagining all the ways he could use this new power. Rags jogged up, smirking. "You're getting better, Bigfoot. Maybe next time you won't dance in the middle of a fight." Logan grinned. No promises. As the dust settled, Logan felt a strange calm wash over him. The memories were coming back in flashes, snippets of a life he barely remembered but couldn't ignore. Maybe, just maybe, this apocalypse wasn't the end. Maybe it was a chance to rewrite his story. Memories and mayhem. Logan trudged through the ruins, the new power of Shadow Step still tingling in his claws. Every now and then a flicker of memory flashed images of a small town, a warm smile, a cup of coffee spilled over a newspaper, but the details slipped away like smoke whenever he tried to grab them. The drone buzzed beside him. "Memory fragments detected. Recommend quest completion for full recovery." Logan sighed. "Great, more work." Suddenly a screech split the air. From behind a pile of rubble, a group of zombies lunged fast and furious, more aggressive than before. Logan grinned. "Looks like they're getting desperate." He dashed forward, claws igniting with flame, Shadow Step teleporting him just out of reach when they got too close. Each fight brought him closer to himself, but the cost was exhaustion. Even Bigfoot had limits. In a brief moment of silence, Logan spotted something, a faded photograph pinned to a broken signpost. He picked it up, dusting off grime to reveal a smiling woman holding a child. A pang of recognition hit him, but before he could think, a zombie tackled him from behind. As he fought off the attacker, Logan realized something important. The apocalypse wasn't just about survival or power, it was about finding the pieces of his past before the world swallowed them whole. And maybe, just maybe, saving what was left of humanity. The betrayal within. Just as Logan began piecing together his memories, a chilling realization hit him. The drone, his constant companion, guide, and sometimes annoying commentator, wasn't as friendly as it seemed. One evening, after a grueling battle with a swarm of mutants, the drone's glow flickered oddly. Then, in a voice dripping with something close to amusement, it said, "Logan, have you ever wondered why you were brought back?" Logan narrowed his eyes. "You mean besides punching zombies and collecting glowing chests?" The drone hummed. "Your resurrection was not a gift, but an experiment. A way to test the limits of human now cryptid potential in a controlled apocalypse. What you're saying, I'm a lab rat, in a manner of speaking, and the system monitors your progress. But there's a catch. Every level you gain, every quest you complete, you become less human, more monster." Logan's fur bristled. "So I'm losing myself, or evolving?" The line is thin. Before Logan could reply, the drone projected a live feed himself, but altered, a monstrous shadow lurking in the distance, eyes glowing red, barely recognizable as the man he once was. The system's voice softened, almost mockingly. "The final form awaits. Complete the journey or be lost forever." Logan clenched his fists, a mix of rage and determination burning inside. If this was a game, he refused to be the villain. He'd find a way to win on his own terms, even if it meant tearing the system apart from the inside. System glitches and unexpected allies. Logan couldn't shake the drone's revelation. An experiment, a monster in the making. The thought churned in his mind like a blender on high. But one thing was clear. He wasn't going to let some cold system decide his fate, not without a fight. As he pressed forward through a dilapidated cityscape, strange glitches began to appear. Buildings flickered like broken holograms, zombies froze mid-step, and the system messages started glitching into nonsense. Quest complete, or maybe not. Error 404, soul not found. Logan laughed, a deep rumbling sound that echoed through the empty streets. Looks like even this system isn't perfect. Suddenly, a figure appeared from the shadows, a woman clad in scavenged armor, wielding a crossbow that looked as deadly as her glare. She called out, "You Bigfoot." Heard rumors of a cryptid who's actually fighting the undead instead of running from them. Logan smirked. "Depends who's asking. I'm Riley, and I'm looking for people who want to end this nightmare for good." Logan eyed her carefully. Trust was a rare currency in this world, but something about Riley felt different. Maybe it was the way she didn't flinch when he flexed his fiery claws, or maybe it was the fact that she carried a stash of canned beans as serious survival perk. Together they moved deeper into the city, forming a shaky alliance against the relentless undead. The drone buzzed nervously. New quest, team up to find the source core. High risk, high reward. Logan grinned. Now this is getting interesting. The source core and zombie politics. Navigating the ruined city with Riley was a lesson in patience and firepower. She had a no-nonsense attitude and an impressive knack for zombie headshots, while Logan brought brute strength and fiery claws, a combo that left plenty of undead strewn across their path. Still, the closer they got to the source core, the heavier the air felt, thick with decay and something far worse, desperation. As they neared an abandoned research facility, Logan noticed signs of organized zombie activity. Not just mindless hordes anymore, these zombies were different. They moved in formation, communicated with guttural growls, and even set crude traps. It was like zombie politics had evolved overnight. Great, Logan muttered. Now the zombies have unions. Riley smirked. More like a war council. I've heard rumors about a zombie kingpin controlling the area, monster with more brains than the rest. Before Logan could digest that, a loud thud echoed from the shadows. Out stepped a hulking figure draped in tattered armor, with glowing eyes sharper than a butcher's knife. The zombie kingpin. Looks like we've got company, Riley whispered. Logan cracked his knuckles, flames flickering at his fingertips. Time to crash the party. The battle that followed was brutal. The kingpin wielded weapons scavenged from the old world, rusted blades, makeshift shields, and terrifying strength. But Logan's fire claws and Riley's sharp aim made them a force to be reckoned with. After a fierce fight, the kingpin fell, retreating with a growl and a promise. This isn't over, cryptid. Panting, Riley nodded toward the building's entrance. The source core should be inside. Let's finish this. Logan took a deep breath. The closer they got, the more he felt the pull of his fading humanity and the heavy weight of the system's control. But with allies like Riley, maybe there was hope yet. Into the core, the research facility loomed ahead, a shattered skeleton of glass and steel swallowed by vines and rust. Logan's claws tingled with anticipation and maybe a little anxiety. The drone hovered nervously, its light flickering like it sensed something was off. Inside, the corridors twisted like a maze, walls lined with flickering monitors showing static and distorted images. Logan's shadow danced across the walls, fire claws casting eerie glows on the cracked floors. Riley moved silently beside him, crossbow ready, eyes sharp. Suddenly, the system chimed in with an unexpected message. Warning, unauthorized presence detected, initiating lockdown protocols. Doors slammed shut, and the lights dimmed, replaced by cold red emergency glows. Logan grinned. Lockdown? You've got to be kidding me. Welcome to the heart of the nightmare, Riley said grimly. They pressed on, navigating security drones that whirred to life and traps that tested their reflexes. Logan used Shadow Step to teleport past deadly laser grids, while Riley dismantled robotic sentries with precision shots. At last, they reached the source core chamber, cavernous room dominated by a pulsating orb of energy. Humming with raw power, Logan stepped closer, feeling a strange pull. The drone spoke softly. Source core detected. Potential to override system control. Riley glanced at Logan. This is it. The chance to end this experiment. Logan reached out, claws glowing, and touched the orb. A surge of energy shot through him, memories flooding back in vivid waves, the life he'd lost. The family, the moments of peace before chaos, but beneath it all, a dark whisper. The system's voice warning him of the final transformation. He clenched his fists. I'm not your puppet. The orb flared, and the chamber shook. Whatever came next, Logan knew one thing: he was ready to fight for who he was and who he wanted to become. Breaking the chain, the energy from the source core pulsed through Logan's body, threatening to consume him. The system's voice echoed in his mind, promising power beyond imagination, if only he would surrender. But Logan clenched his jaw, fighting the pull. He was more than a test subject, more than a monster. With a roar that shook the chamber, he unleashed his fiery claws and Shadow Step in a wild, defiant dance of destruction. The system scrambled, glitching and faltering under his assault. The drone, usually so calm and calculating, buzzed frantically. Logan sees. This path leads to annihilation. Not today, Logan growled. I'm taking back my story. With one final leap, he shattered the core's containment, sending a shockwave rippling through the facility. The red emergency lights faded, replaced by the soft glow of dawn breaking through shattered windows. New dawn outside. The air was thick with silence and hope. The system's grip was broken, but the world was far from safe. Riley approached, her eyes filled with respect and something like relief. You did it, she said. We all did. Logan flexed his claws, feeling the fire still warm in his veins. But without the system's chains, this is just the beginning. We'll rebuild, we'll fight, and maybe we'll even dance again without the disco fever. Rags the raccoon popped out of nowhere, juggling a few glowing orbs. Hey Bigfoot, ready for the next crazy adventure? Logan laughed, a deep, genuine sound. Bring it on. The sun rose over a battered but unbroken world. The legend of Logan was far from over.